Hello guys, my name is Olusheyi. You're welcome to Rare Magic channel. I'm here to tell you the number one lighting tip every wedding photographer should know. If you want to improve your wedding photography lighting, this video is for you. I know you've been looking forward to this. Here we go. The number one tip for every wedding photographer that wants to improve his or her lighting is off-camera flash. Off-camera flash. You can't expect to improve your lighting if you are not shooting off-camera flash. If you want your images to look much more professional, you want that classy, premium, clean images, something that doesn't look like the regular wedding photographs you come across online that just look very basic. One major tool is your lighting. If not the greatest tool, you need to look at, not even your camera, your lens. Your lighting, just like they say photography is light. If your lighting is wrong or you don't get it right, you don't get the whole formula right, you can get your whole image wrong. When it comes to your portrait, your details, your event, shooting outdoor, shooting indoor, the way you handle your light is important, and that is the major issue a lot of photographers have. You need to start shooting off camera. It is the way you can step up your lighting game. That is like the foundation. When it comes to off camera, it's a very, very vast topic. We need to touch. But one tip I will give you today is that if you've not started shooting off camera, you need to start now. We have different kinds of off camera. You can shoot with continuous lighting or artificial lighting. I use both. Sometimes I shoot with continuous lighting, like what we call it a video light. Or you shoot with off-camera lighting, artificial, like softbox, shooting with lights like softbox, Godos AD600, and the likes. Let me say this, on-camera lighting is okay. There are times I also shoot on camera, but I only do that in extreme situations when probably I'm shooting a wedding and I'm not close to my off-camera setup and I just have to capture. But naturally, I shoot off-camera flash only. Bounce lighting and the likes is good. If you want to illuminate the whole room, make sure everywhere is lit up and everything is bright, yes, you can shoot bounce lighting, or you can direct your speed light to the ceiling or maybe to the wall or any place you can get some, reflective performance. But when you want to get that special result where you separate your subject from the background, there are times you can even use different lights. You don't even have to use one light. You can shoot from different angles. You create highlights, create side lighting, main lighting, key light, different kinds of lighting. Even for your portrait, you can do it at a wedding. You can achieve it with continuous light. Many ways you can evolve when you are shooting off camera. If you are shooting on camera, you have very limited options on the kinds of results you can get. But when you're shooting off camera, you can explore different kinds of lightings in different kinds of modifiers, different brands of continuous light that will give you peculiar results. This kind of lighting have different kinds of results when it comes to the skin tone, the texture of the skin. The light plays a huge part. When you shoot on camera, you are just stuck with what the environment light gives to you. One major advantage of off-camera lighting is the power of control, specifically when it comes to situations that are very harsh. For example, when you're shooting weddings, you are subject to the environment. It's not like when you're shooting maybe in the studio where you can control everything that has to do with the lighting from the environment. At weddings, you might be shooting outdoor, for example, and it's quite sunny, or the light is coming overhead and it's not really flattering on the skin, and you want your skin tone to pop more. That is where off-camera flash comes in handy. You can use a beautiful modifier like all these parabolic umbrellas or like a octabox or whatever kind of modifier you use, to direct some light to the face of your subject. When you're shooting outdoor, you might be subject to some harsh conditions, conditions that you might not really like if you're shooting natural light. Maybe you're having like intense sunlight coming from the direction that is not really flattering on the skin, or the lighting is coming from the overhead, from the top. When light comes directly from the top, it's naturally not nice because it casts unnecessary shadows on the skin. That is where off-camera flash can come in handy. You can decide to direct your light or concentrate your light on your subject, to give that subject a level of separation from the background. So you maintain control. That is the major advantage of off-camera flash. You are in charge of the direction and the outcome of the lighting. You are not only entrusting everything to natural situations. When it comes to lighting events, off-camera flash is also, if not the best option, is the perfect option for you. Because when you shoot on camera and you just bounce your light, yes, it's nice, you illuminate the whole room, the whole hall, everywhere looks bright, and shiny and all. It's nice. But when it comes to the more professional approach, it's better when you shoot off camera. You know, your main light is coming from a certain direction, lighting up your subject, and automatically it separates your subject from all those environment lighting from the decoration. You know? Those pink lightings, those blue lightings that can be messy when it comes to the skin, when it lands on the skin. Softbox will completely separate your subject from those things and create some kind of effect where all those environmental lighting forms as highlights, or just to it will just add as an element, you know, to your image, to just give it some pop, unlike when you just bounce your light around the area. When you are shooting wedding portraits, let's say bridal portrait, groom portrait, couple portrait, you know, you need to get creative with it. It's important that you are creative. There's a kind of dynamic range, there's a kind of silhouettic effect, different kinds of approach you can play with, and that is where off-camera flash comes in handy. You know, when you are taking creative shots, like couple shots, you know, the more creative you can get, the more beautiful results you will achieve. And with off-camera flash, you can play with your lights. And like I said in the beginning of this video, photography is light. Photography is light is not just a common term. Without light, there's no photography. You know, your approach to lighting, the intensity of your light, the softness of your light, you know, the distance of the lights from the light to your subject, all this comes to play when it comes to the final outcome of the image. And that is where off-camera comes to play. If you are shooting on camera, your light comes automatically from where you are standing on top of the camera, and it just illuminates the room. Or you are shooting a direct light on your subject and it just hits them directly. Those kinds of lighting is not usually flattering. You know, in fact, it can be terrible. I won't even suggest it for any photographer, you know, especially if you are just starting up or you are just growing. There are so many ways to set up off-camera flash. So don't think you can learn all the setups at once, or you can start applying all the different off-camera setups all at once. No, you can just start practicing different kinds. You can have one or two go-to setups, because there are different ways to set up off-camera flash for your subject. So you can practice maybe one or two. That will be like your go-to set. For me now, when I'm shooting, I have like my standard way of lighting my subject. Even if I'm doing creative work or I'm just shooting an event, I have a way I light them, how I want the light to fall on the subject, you know, the direction I want the light to come from. You know, so just practice, because when it comes to mastering off-camera flash, it takes time and practice. It's not something you just do in one day, but you have to start now. Because for you to improve your lighting, off-camera flash is the way to go. And if you'd like to know more about off-camera flash, you can, you know, write a comment below if you have more questions you'd like to ask about understanding off-camera flash. You know, I don't mind making another video or showing you guys practical classes or practical videos on how to use off-camera flash. I'm sure more videos will be coming out soon on real practical live sessions where you can have better understanding on how off-camera flash works. But this is what I'll tell you: start shooting off-camera today if you've not started. And if you're already into off-camera flash, start to improve on it. There are many ways to go about it. Find your own signature style and work with it. Thank you very much.